Darn it, Tanner, again.
That's right. Every time.
Yeah,
It's got to
really
be a thing.
It's going to be every time.
Yep. Gonna be a thing.
So anyways, last time we were talking about the Minish. How they created these things that are on par or superior to everything else in the Zelda world.
Yeah. So
we were talking about how they either aided or served
the Golden Trio, which is
Din,
Faor,
Faor,
Nehru,
and
and
Nehru.
Din.
Everyone knows.
Sorry, that's my phone. Let me turn it off for
just
time.
They made the Four Sword, Picori Blade, Light Force, which apparently is the Triforce, and the Wishing Cap. You know, the thing like the Triforce, except it's infinite wishes.
Yeah. And that was specifically Vati and Eslo that made the Wishing Cap.
Well, it was just Eslo, and then Vati snuck into his workshop and was like, I'm gonna put it on.
Vati was an apprentice at that point, so he probably helped.
But it was mostly the other guy.
Eslo. Who is your hat?
Yeah, you have one of the most powerful beings in the universe as a hat.
But so it is this basically all-powerful thing, and so you just put it on and you can make as many wishes as you want. And honestly, it's
silly
kind
powerful.
It's amazing that Vati got defeated when he had that. If I remember right, it's because he wished for some immaterial form so that you couldn't kill him, and that got rid of the hat.
Is that what happened? Okay, I need to finish that game so I can...
I could be remembering totally wrong.
I think you are.
Yeah.
Probably. But, I don't know, probably something to do with the Four Sword helps you.
Yeah.
I don't know what... I need to play that game to go through and get the full story firsthand.
So... Oh, right.
And then... Yeah.
And so...
Made the Triforce.
Yeah,
kind of a big deal.
So, it doesn't say specifically that they made it. However, they did, oh my gosh. They did bring it with them. They did bring it with them, when they delivered the Picori Blade. So, there, we have a little bit more on that theory, but, and we'll get that into that later when we get down, if we ever get down to Ganondorf is a hero. In that bullet point, I have a lot of stuff in that one because that's what I've been devoting most of my energy to, is proving that the Hyrule Royal family is kind of dirtbaggy and evil, and Ganondorf is a hero. Not so much the dirtbaggy and evil Hyrule Royal family part. That one is just kind of a fun little gig type thing on the side.
Kind of an afterthought kind of thing.
Yeah, but the Ganondorf is a hero. I've been devoting a lot of time into that specific point because it is one that I really like and want to be true. So the theory is that the Triforce was not created when Din, Faor, and Nehru left. It was used by them to enter and then leave.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Because the Deku Tree doesn't say they created it. He just says that it was there at the point where they left. Mm-hmm. So it was, in my kind of idea, it was made by the Picori to bring them in so that they could forge Hyrule and then use to leave.
Okay, so, and then also, I just want to address something here that is evidence against the Tetraforce theory that's been going around. So that hole in the middle is not a place for a fourth piece of the Triforce. That is where, that's the portal part. That is where that's where you go through to go to the different place. That is so that it was left there. It was at that point because they had to leave it there to go through it. They couldn't just be like, "Yay, let's bring it, thunk," and then they like pull a paradox and just pull it through itself. That doesn't work, guys. I'm sorry.
Also, just to do meta right now, it's based off of an actual symbol of a Japanese feudal family thing, organization, country, majigger. It's the dragon scales. Clan. How did I not think of clan?
I don't know, but I didn't either.
It was a clan symbol. It was the dragon scales, and it was exactly like the Triforce because that's what it was based on.
So this is
okay. Wasn't one of the points about the Tetraforce? I haven't actually looked into this on my own. I just get knowledge of it from Tanner.
I've looked at it a little bit, but it's not. It has very weak evidence that's just minor details.
Wasn't one of the big points the fact that there were 4 great fairies in Termina?
Yep. There's a fairy of wisdom, courage, strength, and kindness.
Thing about that is there were 4 giants in Termina.
Though that's Termina's gods, are the 4 giants, not the Golden Trio. So it would make sense for them to have a 4th great fairy for the 4th giant.
Yeah. One of the points that I don't think we have
I
on
think
there.
the reason they ignored that is because of the idea that the Golden Trio created the world. Which is not true. They created Hyrule as it is.
This is a little late, but one of the points that I think should be made is for a while I wondered why Hyrule was so special. Like it was the land of the gods and blah blah blah, and that's just every country says that about itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every country does. But then I was thinking,
no army marches believing the creator is against them. It's that kind of principle.
Yeah. But then I thought about why all the not idiots were actually trying to get this land, like Ganondorf and...
It's in the middle of everything.
It is...
It's like the super port.
Yeah. It is this area that the Gorons trade to. The Zora fish and trade to. The Gerudo don't really have much to offer, but they...
They would trade if they weren't at war.
Yeah.
Twinrova.
And then they have this forest of magical children and guardian spirits.
But one of the big reasons that I think a lot of the quote unquote evil people, or I don't know, history's told by the victor type thing, want Hyrule is, if you've ever read some of the Marvel comics or watched Avengers Assemble. That's
not Avengers Assemble. Earth's Mightiest
That
Heroes.
one. Yeah.
Avengers Assemble is not very good.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes. You know that a lot of the alien races want Earth because of its location.
Exclusively because of its location.
They don't care about its resources or anything. It's just because it's in just the right. It's just
anything.
In just the right place to create a port, because the
weirdness around it is perfect for like portals and time gates and nonsense like that.
It's because of like Asgard and all the stuff like that.
Because it's Midgar. It's the central point of the tree.
Yeah. So I think that finishes up the Minish.
As their own bullet.
Yeah. Okay.
We're on to mine. The Uga are Hylia.
Okay, so this idea was so in oh my gosh, my favorite
Princess.
Twilight Princess, my favorite Legend of Zelda game, and I can't remember the name. But in Twilight Princess, it states that the Uka created the Hylians. The goddesses made the Uka, and then the Uka made the Hylians. And so I was like,
Or at least they were revered as the race who created the Hylians.
yeah. And so I was like, I'd said something, and it was kind of silly. And so Paris was like, well, I did some research on this, and this guy thinks this. And
What thing did I...
you were like, well, there's this one guy online that said, I don't know who the guy online was.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you do either.
I might if I know what I'm talking about.
That said that the Uka created the Hylians in the sense that they laid
that
out
was
their
just
social structure.
I think
That was just Paris.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that was just me talking.
Okay.
Ha ha, Carol! I didn't get anything from you.
I didn't have to look at you, Carol.
Oh man. But yeah, created could have been guided and
Yeah.
crafted their culture because they talk about Hylians, not humans.
Okay, Nintendo needs to release an official translation for the skywriting because so in the place where you underneath Kakariko Village,
Where you find the cannon.
Also,
There
there
are-
owl
yeah.
statues.
there are
Oh yeah, the owls.
yeah.
Kaopora was not Rauru.
Yeah.
We didn't have that down.
We didn't. We'll
I
We'll
think that
bring
was
that
part
up.
of the second hero though.
yeah.
Okay.
That was part of the early theory for the second hero. Like that was part of my early theory for the second hero. I'm not so sure about it now. It might just be that I'm not remembering my evidence because my brain is like dead right now.
We aren't talking about
Um,
the coup trees either. We forgot a lot of things.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about anything else for quite a while. Sorry.
Yeah.
guys. But seriously, we've been building this up for a long, long time.
We have been building this up for
I think a year. No.
since Breath of the Wild was
Before that.
When
sent-
Naont's Battle released Evil King.
yeah,
Well, it was since
that's-
the...
that's where it kind of
was-
started. That's where I started kind of joking about it.
It was since the completionist episode for Twilight Princess HD.
Was it?
That's when the first time I ever heard Evil King
Okay.
was at the end of the completionist episode for Twilight Princess HD.
Okay. But I started joking about it when I heard that that it would be cool if it were all the same person, if it were all Ganondorf just taught the three different beings inside of him talking. Would Demise, Din, and Ganondorf. Those
I
three.
was looking for the
Um,
publishing date of the Twilight Princess HD completionist video just to see when that was. And look what Nate Wants to Battle did.
He just put out a Goofy Movies Stand Out as a
Yes! That is a great song. But
It's a great
totally
movie, too.
off topic.
I didn't even mean to do that, but I have to say it. You guys should listen to it because Nate Wants to Battle is great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, so that's when we first started developing it. Blah, blah, blah. Right, we've been developing this since, like, really fully developing this since,
Trip to Idaho.
Trip to Idaho, since before that.
Well,
Well,
that's when I remember actually starting to flesh stuff out.
the first time I remember us starting to like flesh stuff out was when they showed off. It was, I think it was like right before E3. No, that was up in Idaho, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was when
I
they
remember.
started. We were in Paris's room, and it was when they had just like started revealing the landscape to Breath of the Wild, before they even gave the name. That's what I remember us fully like trying to flesh this out. But
That was only the first reveal of Evil King was only 5 months ago.
Yeah, that's 5 months of stuff.
and things.
Just
It's kind of funny though.
Yeah. So,
okay, so
Uka or Hylia.
yeah, so they were and so the Uka are weird looking, really weird looking.
Yup.
So the Golden Trio created all the species and races and stuffs, and then they left. But they left
except maybe the Minish.
Okay, yeah, except maybe the Minish.
Yeah.
And then they left, but they left guiding forces as well, such as the Minish and the Uka.
The Light Spirits.
Yeah, and the Light Spirits and all these different things. They have guidance for all the young races.
Also, Uka walk on walls
Yeah,
and on
that's,
the ceilings.
that's
It's creepy.
really, really weird.
Um,
But since the Uka are so weird and creepy and alien to humans, they created a hologram device. Yeah, and used a projection of Hylia to communicate with the humans. And so they just, guided them and helped them out. And then when they were no longer needed, Hylia left.
Should be mentioned that for a while, before Skyloft, the Ukako did
Uka.
right. I always want to say Ukako. The Uka did just speak to humans in their natural form because the wall paintings in the room with the cannon.
Yeah, but after a while.
I know.
Who knows how many times Civilization has fallen in this series? Because
They don't have guns. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Civilization fell a lot of times. If it was as stable as Hyrule is every time we see it in a game, they would have guns.
Yeah.
Really easily, they'd have guns.
Really
They have
high-tech cyber
They have
weaponry.
flowers that explode, so they would definitely have way better technology if it was a constant stream of
Stability.
stability.
Yeah, if you notice
So-
in the Great Seat, they had guns. Tetra had a gun, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. She never used it.
She had a pistol on her side.
I think
Yeah.
it was decorative. She never used it ever.
But they did have a cannon.
Yeah, they did. Took them long enough.
Yeah, they have cannons in both Wind Waker, in the Wind Waker series, and Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess, it took them a lot longer.
Well,
Maybe.
No, it
both
didn't.
of them took about that long. So,
But
yeah.
then they're also different
and then they
kinds of
lost
cannons.
guns further down, and it's
Because
Yeah.
the ones in Twilight Princess are siege cannons.
Yeah.
The ones in Wind Waker are naval.
And so I want to point out that a reason for why Zelda had it in her head that she was the reincarnation of Hylia.
because she's magic.
Well, that and it might be the idea of like that. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called anymore. Like that divine right to rule.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like, it
the
might
Chinese
be-
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and European.
Yeah.
A bunch of Europe.
Alamars.
China did it first. Like they were the first people that would.
Yeah, but
I have the divine right, and then they would just be like, they just say that, and that's how they get a couple thousand
Yeah,
followers.
Europe-
They go. siege
Europe
the
would do that
castle.
too.
I don't
But
remember exactly what they called it. It might
uh,
have just been the divine right, or
they had a name for it.
there was
Can't
a
remember.
name for it.
We'll think of it eventually. But so it might have been like, I have this divine right and I have magic. So maybe instead of it being just a divine right, maybe I am this goddess because I bear this resemblance to this giant statue of what we think the goddess looks like. So it's not like so it's not entirely her fault in a way. Like, it's definitely her fault that she thinks she's reincarnation of Hylia, but it's not like it was just some poof, I'm Hylia, revelation. Oh, it was
Also,
this and then this and then this.
That's
so
not
this.
how reincarnation works in any society where you would remember and know that you were.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
if you
And then
reached certain levels.
Yeah, if you reached
Chakra.
enlightenment.
But supposedly,
But-
if you remember, Sheik went and took Zelda, and I'm guessing Sheik basically brainwashed him, or not Sheik, Impa.
yeah.
That Impa basically brainwashed Zelda into thinking she was, because she vanishes with Impa, and then she's like, oh yeah, I am the reincarnation, and it's
oh,
like,
gosh.
Yeah, keep
brainwash
telling
her?
yourself that.
So it's just
We have no evidence that she actually did anything to the sword.
yeah.
Doesn't it just say, it's now this?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that scene. I haven't played the game. But,
I don't know. Me
so-
too.
I haven't seen
So,
the scene. Maybe
I-
if I see the scene, I'll be able to tell you. But, okay, so I think that's everything for that point.
Kind of. Pretty sure I had other things, but I can't think of them right now.
Well, everything that if you remember them, feel free to
Okay.
say to come back. But so the next point is Dark Flames? Question mark.
Yeah, this is
Um,
from the Oracle games. Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. And okay, spoilers.
yes, oh,
Give me
Uh,
time to pause.
big spoilers.
Because spoilers. Okay, the main antagonist of those games is actually Twinrova. And so Twinrova, through lighting the fires of despair, destruction, and chaos, is trying to revive Ganon. And again, Ganon, not Ganondorf. They don't care about him, they just wanted Ganon. And so they light these flames, and they're like an evil Triforce, because they light the flames and sacrifice Zelda, the Magic Princess, and then Ganon's back. Is
For
their
every
plan.
action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Oh,
If there is a Triforce, there's an opposite to the Triforce. It just made me think of that.
yeah.
But there's that, and it makes sense that it would demand a sacrifice for the evil one to give you your wish. But Link comes in and kills Twinrova to stop them from sacrificing Zelda, and so before they die, they sacrifice themselves and revive Ganon's body. I think we went over this first episode.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit.
And then you kill Ganon's body, and then Calamity Ganon's spirit, so I think that's where Breath of the Wild is on the timeline.
So, just real quick, jumping back to Zelda not being Hylia.
And it makes sense, too.
So, first off,
Hero of Light
supposedly,
in Breath of the Wild.
supposedly, Hylia had to sacrifice herself to seal Demise. So what that means is that Hylia was not the all-powerful goddess that they think she is.
It was the Uka.
Yeah, it was the Uka, meaning that
They needed to leave and needed an excuse for their deity to disappear. So there was this big, powerful enemy. They shot him in the face with their sky cannons. And then they're like, you guys can fly now. Have a floating island. And Hylia, oh no, she sacrificed her divinity and has to leave. Guys, start the engine. Start the engine!
Yeah.
She sacrificed her divinity, which would make her reincarnate.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
not how it works.
Oh yeah. And even to begin with, if she couldn't, even if it wasn't the Yuka, and Hylia actually was a person, if she who had to sacrifice herself to seal a not even god demon, not even a god tier demon, just like a normal demon that just appeared.
Shield hit is how Delaney beat Demise.
Yeah.
Shield hit.
So
Shield hit.
that means that she probably wasn't even actually
If she
a divine
existed,
being,
which I don't think she did, she was a hero, not a creator.
meaning she wouldn't have reincarnated.
Not as Zelda.
Not as Zelda.
Not as that Zelda.
Okay, and then this is the part where we bring up how terrible the models are.
I just really don't like the art style for
Their
Skyward
lips are.
Sword's
Their lips are like.
characters.
I
They
realize
have
you can't see me,
giant lips.
but they're like. And
He's stretching the corners of his mouth to make his lips stand out.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
and
I'm
so
explaining to Carol.
No.
Carol
No,
gets
Carol
nothing.
doesn't deserve
Avery
to know.
doesn't want you to understand visuals.
No.
Avery.
Okay, so
Because then Carol can
but
see through
Link
the television.
in that one, he also looks just kind of fat. Like that's my big problem with their character designs. Is
He
Link
doesn't look
looks fat.
fit enough to fight all these monsters.
And he is like this, supposedly this master swordsman who is training to become a knight.
I didn't
And
know
has
that.
fought no people ever.
Huh? Oh no, I realized that you didn't say he was a master swordsman, but throughout the game he is like a master swordsman. But it's,
Not even.
it's
Okay,
Twilight Princess Link is like 10 billion times
so
done.
Twilight
Yes.
Princess Link is a beast.
we'll get into that later.
A lot of the Links are.
So Dark Flames. Back to that.
I want to
equal
see
and
a
opposite
realistic
reaction.
hero of the Minish.
Yeah.
Because the Four Sword recognized him as a hero, and that is insane.
When he was 8.
Yeah, that is insane. Because Avery brought this up. I don't know if we actually have it on podcast or ever did. But
No, we don't.
I know we
We never
don't.
did.
I just thought about it, but I don't think we ever did.
We never did. No.
But the Four Sword is several times pickier than the Master Sword. Like, the only other two Links it's been wielded by, who were not the hero of the Minish, were only seen as a quarter of the hero he was.
Which is why they were split into 4, so that together they can make up the whole hero.
Yeah. And it's like, whoa! Way to not give him a chance.
Yeah.
It's the pickiest thing around.
So
Also,
we have these different tiers of
Shadow
swords.
Link is the next one on
Shadow
the
Link,
list.
yeah.
So
And
that's the Dark Flames.
So, well, Dark Flames, I want to say something real quick. So equal and opposite reaction. Avery brought this up, and so I want to say something. So if the Triforce, which we defined earlier, was the portal between the Hyrule world
And wherever.
most likely a spirit world, where
A type of sacred realm.
a type of sacred realm. So it would make sense that these dark flames would pull something from the opposite to
That's
it.
true.
Instead of sending it, it would pull
That's
it.
another thing that would... Because they never said they were getting a wish. They were just reviving Ganon. So the Triforce could have just been their way out. And Ganon is always banished. Because he just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Uh,
So instead of it being sent to this world,
it's being brought from that world.
but then that begs the question, did the Golden Trio use the Dark Flames to get there?
Probably not. They had the Minish helping them.
True. Minish. Right. Totally forgot about that part.
The Minish are just too great. So
Okay.
I don't think the Golden Trio did make the Minish, because the Minish are their way in.
Yeah.
Because they were not going to use the Dark Flames. Also, you have to have someone as Magic-y and Plot Convenience-y as Zelda to use the Dark Flames.
I just
properly.
thought,
Mhm.
just
my head. I was rambling on a different conversation, but I just thought of something, and I was thinking about
So yeah, that's the Dark Flames.
the way that you enhance the Master Sword with Twilight energy, and the way that you make the Force Sword, you fuse the elements inside of the essences into the Force Sword, into the White Sword to make the Force Sword, is remarkably similar.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, the entrance to the sacred realm, the sacred realm that the Minish come from, which opens every 100 years, is very similar to an entrance to the Twilight realm.
Huh.
We'll have to explore that.
We haven't looked at this part very much, so we'll have to think about it and come back
Yeah.
to you.
Okay, so Shadowlink. Hopefully we'll be able to get this in the next just couple minutes, just real quick.
Okay, this comes right from the conversation about the Force Sword and how
So it should be quick.
the Link that was using the Force Sword, who was not, well, the two. The first one, who was not the hero of the Minish, was actually seen... this is secondhand knowledge for me, but he was actually less than a quarter, and I'm sure the other one was too. But
Yeah.
Well, no, this is just speculation. It was just
Speculation?
speculation.
Oh, okay, never mind. This is speculation. Shadow.
I
Well,
thought
so what it is when the Force Sword got a new master, it was like, this guy sucks, so I'm gonna make 4 of them, and then I'm gonna make a 5th one to shove all of this bad unworthiness, I hate this about him stuff into.
And that's where we get Shadow Link.
And I'm sure a bunch of you are like, but that doesn't make sense with the timeline. Well, guess what? We're gonna make our own one, so it really just doesn't matter.
Well, what wouldn't make sense with the timeline?
Huh? Oh, Minish Cap is right before.
Right before Four Swords.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
right before.
Oh yeah, then that works. Never mind. I thought Ocarina of Time was right after Minish Cap. Okay.
Four Swords is.
Yeah, I got my timeline wrong. It works.
Yeah, we're talking for a long, long time.
Yeah. We are now to an hour and a half, and
So
we're going on to
gonna-
part